What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Cold Takes from the Land.
Cold Takes from the Land, where you get the coldest takes from the hottest Cleveland sports fans.
And I got a feeling today, buddy. I feel like today could end up being a day that really sums up the word cold takes, but it could also sum up, a hot take, as some people like to say, but only cold takes over here, because we got a game, buddy. We got the Ravens in Baltimore.
Yes, we do. Big week, buddy. This could be make or break on the season.
Yeah, this is a big week. This is probably our biggest game of the year. We got Baltimore at home. They're 7-2. They've been playing excellent football all year. They kicked the shit out of us with old DTR at quarterback. But we got Watson for this one, and in theory, a completely healthy Watson who's not even on the injury report. So I got a little bit of optimism. I don't know about you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay about this one. Not too bad. There's some things I want to see, kind of like our Niners game. This game could go a bunch of different ways, but if we play well, I'll be happy even in a loss.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. But you always want to win. And for the viewers out there who aren't aware, because we didn't really tell you guys about it in the first episode. I'll give a little backstory. Austin over here, my buddy Austin, he hates the Ravens. Like, absolutely despises the Ravens.
Can't stand those no good for nothing fucking cocksucking goddamn Ravens.
Would you say you hate them more than the Steelers?
Probably not, but right now, yes, because they're better than the Steelers.
Exactly.
So the Steelers I watch, and I'm like, their offense is ass. The Ravens I watch, and I'm like, shit. Only one team can do what they're doing.
Right. So, a little backstory. So, 2021, or last year with Baker, Austin had actually never been to a Browns game, and we were talking, and he found some tickets to Browns-Ravens in Cleveland. He's like, yeah, you want to go? I got some good price. I'm like, oh, sweet, man. Yeah, let's go. And we went. I drove. It was his first Browns game. I've been to like 8, I think. And he's 1-0.
No need to brag here, buddy.
All right. Hey. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying. Technically, it's Browns games. It's not really much of a brag, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but no. So it was Austin's first game, and it was the Browns game where Lamar got hurt actually really early, and Tyler Huntley came in, and we ended up beating them. We were beating them pretty soundly. If any of you guys out there listening remember, we kind of choked a little bit at the end, and then it ended up being a one-score game, and then the Ravens ended up getting an onside kick, and then Austin was like fucking losing his mind. He's a couple Bud Lights in, and
I remember specifically looking over to you, and I'm like, we're gonna lose this fucking game, aren't we? And
yeah.
We're just like, yeah, it ain't looking good, buddy. It ain't looking good.
It was not, but a great play by Jadeveon Clowney and Denzel Ward on back-to-back plays. We ended up winning that game, and I specifically remember looking at Austin as he's flipping the bird on both hands to the sidelines. Fuck the Ravens. That's what he said. That's what he said out loud.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. But no. So the Browns-Ravens always sits in a special spot with me because I took Austin to his first game, and it happened to be a win. And we've only beat them one other time since then. We've yet to beat them with Lamar Jackson playing a full game since then. And I'm hoping this week can be the first one. I don't know if you have anything you want to kind of spout off before we get into our 3 keys to victory.
I hope so, man. I hope we put up a good fight. It'll be a much more even battle this time with Watson out there than our backup. But
for sure,
I'm just hoping we can throw some touchdowns. I want some turnover-free football again. But the Ravens, I mean, we both have top 3 defenses, so it might end up being a defensive battle. But we got to see what we can do to limit Lamar Jackson out there.
Yeah, so for sure. No, I completely agree with you. It's a completely different game. Even though it's in Baltimore, it's a different game. But
yeah, and he's coming off, dare I say, his best 2 games in a Browns uniform outside of the Washington game last year and the Titans game in last week. So
yeah, for sure. No, yeah, he played real well last week, so I'm hoping Deshaun can come in and play well. But the thing that's a little interesting, and before we get into our 3 keys, I'm going to read this off to you. I'm sure you're already aware. You might not be. You're going to learn today.
Cam Mitchell on the IR.
Yeah, that sucks. That's actually not what I'm pointing out. The injury report for both teams is actually kind of rough.
So I didn't even see it. Who's on ours?
So I see the top 5 here. Greg Newsome is questionable. Pierre Strong, questionable. David Njoku, questionable. And David Bell and both Marquise Goodwin are both questionable. That sucks. But let me get
That's
into the
tough. A lot
Ravens.
of
Let me
pass
get into the
catching,
Ravens.
a lot of weapons.
Yes. So the Ravens, Rashad Bateman also questionable. Keaton Mitchell, running back, questionable. Marlon Humphrey is questionable, as well as Michael Pierce, also questionable.
Again, that'd be something if Humphrey missed both games against the Browns.
Yeah, so even though the Ravens, they got Odell back and whatnot, both teams might be a little banged up going into this game. But I just wanted to point that out as we get into our 3 keys, and I'll swing it over to you. You can introduce the first key to victory here.
You got it, buddy. Before I get to my first here, I also want to point this out. With Cam Mitchell being on the IR, I did see Newsome's back at practice today, so I'm hoping, God willing, he's able to play on Sunday because we're going to need him.
I'm thinking he'll play just because big division game. I feel like I feel like these guys are fighting to get back and play because this is a big game. As we're going to get into, it's a big game, so I'm hoping they'll be back.
If you win this game and somehow come out next week and win the Steelers game too, I think
you're in a great
Deshaun
spot.
Watson's going to turn a lot of guys. I'm not predicting they're going to win. But if he somehow comes away with 2 victories here, I think you're going to turn a lot of naysayers into believers when it comes to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, definitely. This is a big statement game for Deshaun. If Deshaun can come into Baltimore, beat them, go back home and beat Pittsburgh, it's going to be really hard to talk against him in terms of just football reasonings.
Yeah. And then with that, I'll get into my first key to victory here. So I have as my very first key to victory, and we touched on this in the last Browns-Ravens preview as well, but we really need to limit Mark Andrews. If we can just take him away somehow, I want to see, even honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Martin Emerson on him. Like a bigger guy. He's not as fast as the other 2 corners, but put a guy like him on there, maybe have a linebacker help out on him every once in a while. But if we can take him away, man, I'm really not terrified of any of these other weapons. I mean, Dade Flowers has got some speed to him, but he was kind of dinged up last week, I believe. So I have faith in Ward and Newsome if he comes back to kind of limit him. But they have one guy on that team outside of Lamar who's going to beat you with his hands, and that's Mark Andrews.
Right, yeah, for sure. If Newsome plays, you're in a great spot because then you can put
definitely.
A guy like Emerson, kind of have him shadow Andrews because luckily Baltimore doesn't have a lot of real big, beefy receivers, so Emerson can kind of move around a bit more, you are kind of hoping that Newsome can play. If Newsome doesn't play, then you're in a real tough spot because you're going to have to play Emerson on the outside. If you shadow him with Andrews anyway, then you're going to have, Cam Mitchell's on IR, so if Newsome misses, then you're going to have guys like A.J. Green out there playing, the second boundary corner, which is a bit of a scary situation.
Wouldn't be good. With them, too, I just touched on, I'm not super afraid of any receivers they have, but they are very, very deep at that position. I mean, they have guys like Odell, Aguilar. They have veterans that can catch the ball, so if we're missing him, it might be a struggle.
Don't leave out Say Flowers, man. That kid is good. Obviously, he's a rookie, and he's going to make some mistakes, and I think our tough defense can give him problems.
Yeah, he played well the first time against us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I'll get into my first point here, and I completely agree with you on the Mark Andrews thing. He's killed us over the years, that's for sure. But
he's fucked us.
Yeah, he's fucked us right.
Pardon my French.
But no, my first point, I'm taking a page out of Greg Williams' book here. Punch him in the fucking mouth was my first point.
Man, we got to be physical.
Yeah, this is a team. You got to go in there. You got to be aggressive, offensively, defensively. Take some shots. Put the defense on their heels, and then on the flip side, put Lamar under pressure, make it hard for him, make some acrobatic plays like he has in the past over his last few years, his whole career basically in Baltimore. Just make it as tough as you can, be gritty, fucking hit him, blow some knees out, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that aggressive, but
fucking snap some backs, break some kneecaps.
Just spear Lamar into next week, But
yeah, he needs one good hit, man. If somebody cracked him one good time, I'd feel a lot better because nobody can ever seems to get hands on that guy to bring him down.
I don't wish injury on anybody, but tweak an ankle, let him be out the rest of the game.
I'm not talking injury. I just want to see one good hit. Hit stick him once, because that might kind of have him questioning what he wants to do, whether he wants to run the ball, because we have the most physical defense in football in my mind outside of San Fran. So if you can crack him one good time, it might kind of leave him questioning, oh shit, do I want to try this again?
Yeah, for sure. And I know I like to joke, but yeah, no, you got to get physical, and I don't really have a whole lot much else to that point, but you got to be physical, punch him in the mouth, be aggressive on offense, be stifling on defense. Got to do your thing, and I'll swing it back to you.
Punch him in the mouth.
Punch him in the mouth.
So for my second key to victory, I have limit the run game. So it seems like with the Ravens too, they're always constantly injured at the running back position. But just last week, they had that rookie step up, go for he had 9 carries for 140 yards, I believe it was. So it really feels like it doesn't matter who they plug in there. Their running backs are always producing to some degree. They kind of have that running back by committee thing going like we do right now. But I want to see the linebackers and safeties step up. We need to help limit Lamar Jackson in the run game. We're going to have to do the best we can with, hopefully, Tomlinson and Hurst can help plug up some of those run lanes a bit, get those linebackers running downhill to help plug up the run game, and do what we can there to limit Lamar Jackson, because we know how dangerous he is with those legs.
Yeah, absolutely. That run game is it's even though with this new offense they're running,
the linebackers are going to have to be on one. They're going to have to be filling those gaps.
Yeah, for sure. And that I'd say when I get into my next point here, it's kind of a similar thing, though it's not with the run game specifically, but I'll finish off your point by saying, yeah, their run game, even in this new version of the offense with Todd Monken, it's so dynamic. They run different kinds of runs out of different formations with different guys, and obviously Lamar Jackson is the biggest run threat in the league as a quarterback. You got to contain it to a point. Obviously, when you go into games like this against teams that are this good, they're going to get theirs. They're going to have some plays here and there where they're just going to, make something happen. And you just got to limit that as much as you can, especially a team like this. And Baltimore has had their way with Cleveland, since the Lamar Jackson era. Literally the only 2 games we've beaten them, I'm pretty sure, is either Lamar got hurt early or Tyler Huntley was starting from the get-go. So we got to have a clean game where we beat Lamar. As I'd say, I think the last time we beat him was his MVP year, where we got him real early in this season, and obviously they ended up flourishing that season. But my point still stands.
We even lost to him in him and Baker's rookie year, because I remember we played them the very last game of the season, and I was at Winking Lizard watching the game, and I remember specifically talking with the dude at the bar, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I think you guys finally got your quarterback," and that was Lamar's worst season by far, was his rookie season.
Yeah, Lamar wasn't great that year.
I don't really know about us. Don't ask me why. There was a fucking Baltimore fan in Cleveland, but he's like, "I don't know about us. I'm not sure about this Lamar Jackson guy." And then fast forward 5 years from now, and Lamar's an MVP already, and he's already in the MVP conversation again this year. So
yeah, he might be my MVP this year. But to get into my next point here, which is kind of similar, it's not specific to the run game. It's actually, and this kind of goes heavy on the linebackers. My second key to victory was limit the middle of the field for Lamar Jackson, whether that's breaking off a run play or it's a pass play. Lamar is excellent in the middle of the field, making some things happen, finding Mark Andrews or Zay Flowers or even Odell or even some of those running backs on the check down. He dominates the middle of the field, and we got to limit that. We need JOK, Taki, Awok, whoever else is out there at linebacker. We need them to fucking kill it this week. We need them to be absolutely on point this week, because this is a team where if you give them the middle of the field, they're going to fucking kill you and score 40. So, again, not a whole ton to it, but just you got to limit the middle of the field, bottle up the offense as much as you can in that area, and make Lamar make some tough sideline throws, because that's where you can still see Lamar make some mistakes and miss some throws here and there. So, make it tough for him.
We picked him off 4 times one time and still lost. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't want to think about that game.
That was so frustrating. That was one of those few games recently where I was like, fuck I just had it in my mind. I absolutely hated the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that was a game where every time we picked him, I'm like, yes, we got him again, and then we go 3 and out. I'm like, what the fuck?
We're literally the kings of doing that shit. We'll get an interception or get a good turnover, and then we get no points from it.
Yeah, in defense, that was the year where Baker was hurt and the offense was all fucked up, and we traded Odell, and I don't want to think about it. We're in a lot better spot at this time. So, but yeah, no, for sure.
All right, buddy. So I'll get into my third and final key to victory here, and this is a pretty simple one. I just wrote down Deshaun. I want to see him continue to progress. I think he can come out and have another hopefully decent game. I want to see him have more touchdowns and turnovers. I really just want to see how the offense progresses with him at the helm. I want to see Amari Cooper continue to do what he's doing. Hopefully Njoku is out there. I know you said he was questionable this week, but get him out there, see what we can do with Elijah Moore, because that guy's seeming to get open on every freaking route he runs.
Yep.
Pretty much, we just can't get him the ball. So scheme him open a bit, get him some looks. Hopefully we'll get Goodwin back here. I'm assuming he's probably going to miss this week because he got cracked pretty hard last week. But
Yeah, he's the one I'm
we can
definitely
do.
not expecting to play.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back this week either. But Tillman maybe. I mean, maybe he's not in the injury report for once in the last 3 weeks. So let's see if we can get him some looks here.
For sure.
And I just want to see him progress, man. I mean, I want to see him continue to do well in the red zone. Hopefully get a couple deep shots in. Maybe he can hit Amari Cooper again like he did on 1 or 2 passes last week and see what we can do from there.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add. I mean, I completely agree there. Deshaun's got to go out there and, do his thing.
Gotta light those bitches up.
If light him up.
Gotta light them up.
But
Also, did you see, I want to throw this in real quick. Did you see DeJuan Jones is moving to left tackle and they're going to play Hudson at right?
yeah, I heard that
How do
might
you
be
feel
a
about
thing that
that?
happens. So DeWand is, as we've seen at right tackle, he's clearly very talented. He plays the position well at the right side. If I'm gonna put if on here because I could still see James Hudson playing left, hopefully, but if he swings over to left tackle, I am confident in DeJuan Jones' ability to go out there and do his job. Obviously, he's a rookie, so he's going to make mistakes here and there. But DeJuan Jones, I think I've been really impressed with him all year. Obviously, like I just said, he's a rookie. He's going to make some mistakes, but I really like the guy. I have a lot of faith in him. And worst case scenario, if he goes out there and has like a rough first quarter, James Hudson has played left tackle multiple times. So if you got to switch him back, put DeJuan back where he's used to, it's all good. But I'm hoping they make the best decision they can for the personnel.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about because as far as I know, I don't think he's ever played left tackle. So it'll be interesting to see him out there if that's what they end up deciding to do this week.
Yeah, and that's funny because as I get into my last point, my last key to victory was protection. We're really banged up on this front line. And, as we were just stating a few seconds ago, some guys could be swapping positions. We don't really know what that line's going to look like pretty much until game day. This Ravens defense, while I don't think it's as talented as Cleveland, they are very well coached and they are very hard-nosed, get to the football, and they are just very solid everywhere. And the number one spot you don't want to have, break open, especially with your quarterback coming back only his second game off injury, is the offensive line. You really want them to hold up. And as much as we crap on Jedrick Wills sometimes, you don't want to lose him because at the very worst, he's at least an adequate left tackle, you know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
It sucks having him be gone for a little while. Jack Conklin's already gone.
Hey, good news with him, though. At least he's not gone for the year. I mean, he's on IR, so at minimum, he's gone 4 games. But hopefully we'll see him for a playoff run if we end up getting that far.
Yeah, I hope we can get back and recover well. But, as I said, Conklin's already hurt. Pochich has been banged up all year. I know I'm pretty sure both Teller and Batoni have had a little bit of issues.
As well.
Yeah, so you're just hoping those guys can be healthy and they can protect well because, the best method for success for Deshaun, especially against a tough defense like this, is to at least keep him protected. So that was my last point, is keep him protected as much as you can. You don't want him running for his life all game because we already know that can cause him problems. And plus, he's already been hurt. We don't know if he could get hurt again if he's under a lot of duress. So, just got to keep him protected. Make it as easy as you can on Deshaun.
Yes, sir. That's the last thing we freaking need. Do you remember in the first meeting, how many times did DTR get sacked? I don't even remember.
A lot.
Was it a lot? I was going to say, I don't remember him getting, killed a ton. I just remember him making a bunch of bad reads. I mean,
no,
those linebackers
I actually,
are quick, too. I mean, they're just all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think he got necessarily sacked a ridiculous amount. I just remember him just, constantly being under pressure. And, obviously with the 5th-round rookie, he's going to make some bad decisions, and that just all spiraled out of control that game. So,
Yeah.
You,
They have a very
you don't want
fast
that.
defense. I mean, their secondary and linebackers are all over the field at all times. So you're going to have to make the right reads. You're going to have to play turnover. If not turnover-free football, they're going to have more turnovers on the positive side than Baltimore has. So we're going to have to beat them there.
Yeah, like I said, you don't want to wish injury on anybody. But, if Marlon Humphrey and Michael Pierce could, miss this game, I'd be all right.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Shit, I thought that last time, and it didn't fucking make a difference. Humphrey was gone, and fucking they still were freaking absolutely destroying DTR.
Yeah, but we do have Watson this game, and as much as Watson has been kind of up and down, at the very worst, he's at least far better than any of those two
Oh yeah.
guys, even at his
I mean, his
worst
worst
form.
game in his Browns career is better than either of those two guys at their best.
Yeah, so you're just hoping because of that at the very least, competence at quarterback this time against Baltimore, it'll be a closer game. And I'll kind of make my closing thoughts here before you get into yours. I'm optimistic, and I tend to be on the optimistic side as a Browns fan. And I really do have faith in Kevin Stefanski and Jim Schwartz. Go out there and make great game plans for the offense.
I think
and
the
defense.
latter is going to be the big one. I'm very intrigued to see what Jim Schwartz dials up after already meeting this team once. I think he's going to mix it up a little bit on defense and kind of get after him a little bit more.
Yeah. This is a weird team because we're very aggressive, but at the same time, I feel like a team like Baltimore, you don't want to get too aggressive because we already know Lamar Jackson's run threat, and the things they can do offensively. Capitalizing off of that run threat. And, I'm just hopeful, and I'm really excited but nervous at the same time for the game this Sunday. And I think it'll be a good one. And with that, I'll let you get into your closing thoughts, and I'll let you make your prediction first as for a score going into the game.
Yeah. I am also very fucking nervous this week. I hate playing the Ravens, as you already touched on. I think it's going to be a close game, but then again, what the F do we know? I mean, I thought it was going to be close the first time, and freaking they absolutely shut my boy down. Yeah. But I think it'll be a hard-fought game. I think Watson's going to look decent. It's not going to be his best game of the year. I don't think it'll be his worst either. But it's going to be a knockdown, drag-him-out fight, I think. On the road, it's just going to be tough, though. I mean, playing at Baltimore, I hope we can come away with a victory, but I'm going to say, final thoughts here, I'm going to say Browns lose 24, Ravens score, and then the Browns will score 20.
Okay.
I was leaning, I almost said 21-20, but I'm like, I don't think it's going to be close, but I'm like, I think they're going to get 24. Like, our defense is going to do fine. I think we'll have a takeaway or two, but when push comes to shove, I think Lamar is going to find Mark Andrews right up the middle of the field like they did last time for a touchdown, and then they're probably going to have some success running the ball a bit.
Yeah. I actually mostly agree with you for the most part. For the most part, I'm sorry. I think it'll be a tough game, grinded out tight game, like you said, and I think Lamar's going to go out there and make some plays. I think Deshaun's going to go out and make some plays. I agree with you completely, saying it's not going to be his best game, it's not going to be his worst. Excuse me. But even with Baltimore being kind of banged up themselves, I think we might be even more banged up, and I think the lack of consistency at who's starting at quarterback, whether it's Deshaun or whatnot, because this is only a second game back, I think that will pose a little bit of problems.
Yeah.
And, with this tough defense, like I said, I think he will make some plays, but there might be a few plays here and there where he'll miss a throw from, being a little rusty still, or miss a read here and there, and he may throw a bad pick in some spot somewhere in the game. Obviously, I hope not, but, this is just my gut feeling, and Lamar's always had success against this team, so... I unfortunately, as a Browns fan, I think we agree on a loss this week. I do predict Baltimore to win this game. I'm thinking by a score of 27 to 23. And the reason I say that score is I feel like I could see the Browns getting in field goal position, but they're kind of stalling out here and there, just because Baltimore's defense is very tough, and you can never count them out. And my main reason for this pick is just the consistency in Baltimore has been more consistent than Cleveland. So at the end of the day,
in football right now, really.
Yeah, they might be the best team in the conference, and I think this game's really going to show it as they go against a tough defense. But
I'm hoping we have a breakout game, man. I would love to see this be the week that Elijah Moore or somebody like Tillman produces. Like, I'm just itching for somebody in that second receiver spot to fucking do something for us. Like, it would make me, even in a loss, it would make me feel a hell of a lot better if freaking Elijah Moore had 90 yards or something like that.
Yeah. And I'll actually play off you there. My final closing thoughts overall after our predictions is, this is a game where I kind of said this about the San Francisco game, and we saw how that turned out. This is a game where we can lose and still come out with our stock rising. Right. If we can come out there.
This is a weird game, too, because, like, I do see a path where the Browns can win this week, too. Like, it's like, Going into the San Fran game, you and I were both like, yeah, we're kind of screwed here. I don't really see any path to victory, but I could see the Browns coming away with a win here. I mean, it's not off
No,
the table.
absolutely, absolutely. That front four can cause some havoc if they can slow down the run game. The Baltimore's receivers have been a bit banged up too. If they can limit that as much as they can, obviously you want
Yeah.
Newsom to play for
Be
sure.
physical with Mark Andrews out there.
Yeah,
Limit him.
absolutely. Yeah, they can definitely make some stifling plays on defense, and if Deshaun can just make enough plays, they can definitely win this game. But I'm just going with my gut feeling and what I've seen. Baltimore's 6.5 point favorites. I wouldn't quite go that far. I think it'll be a little closer than that. But
Yeah.
you know,
Defense has got to get more credit than that. I mean, especially after last week, giving up 58 total yards.
yeah, and a lot of people are going to say, "Well, it was the Cardinals." I don't care. That's an NFL
Yeah.
team.
I mean,
It's so
they
hard.
touched on that today too. Like, I don't think the Cardinals. They only had one other game this year where they scored less than 10 points, and most of the time they're scoring closer to 20 points, and they still get decent yardage on offense. They don't have any crazy weapons. I mean, James Conner is consistent when he's playing,
Yeah.
but we absolutely shut them down compared to what every other team did against them.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the Ravens, the team we're playing this week, they scored 20 against the Ravens.
Yeah, yeah. As let's say, like I said, Arizona, while they are one of the worst teams in the league, when you look at it on paper, that's still one of the 32 best football teams in the world, and anything can happen any given Sunday. So, shutting out a team is very hard to do. And I still have faith and I have confidence. I just, it may be my bitterness as a young Browns fan that's only seen losing outside of 2020. I'm a little bitter, especially towards the Ravens, and I ultimately do feel like it's going to be really tough to get past the Ravens. But you never know; things can happen, and that's kind of my thoughts there. I don't know if you had anything else you want to add.
Yeah, I believe you said this last week when we were talking off the air, but Baltimore is kind of like to us what we are to Cincinnati. They just
Exactly.
seem to beat up on us every time we play them. But Jim Schwartz, right before this, he was on Detroit, you said, right?
His head coaching gig, his one and only head coaching gig was with Detroit. But before,
And was that right before he came to the Browns?
No. So he was head coach of
He
Detroit
was in
from
Tennessee for a little bit.
Yeah, so he was actually, if you remember when Philly won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles?
Yeah.
He was the defensive coordinator of that team. And
Okay.
then he left coaching
Not
for
his
a little
best
bit.
performance,
Yeah,
but they won.
he left coaching for a little bit due to some health issues. But then
Okay.
he came back with Tennessee, which is actually where he was at early in his career as a defensive coordinator under Jeff Fisher.
Was he on the Tennessee team that beat Lamar in the playoffs?
No,
Or Derrick Henry was running for like 200 yards a game?
No, I don't believe so. I could be wrong. But he kind of just came in. He didn't have too much of a role. He was kind of just an assistant because he was kind of easing his way back into coaching just because due to his health issues. But yeah, he was there for I think 2 seasons before he got back with us. But yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. So really, I mean, he hasn't been matched up against Harbaugh a ton. I mean, he was in the NFC for a while with Detroit, and then he was with the Titans for a bit. But they're the same conference as us, but they're not playing the Ravens a ton. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I tend
for
to
sure.
always lean towards the DC in that situation because you can kind of mix up your looks a bit and see what you can do. And he's already a great defensive head coach. So
Yeah, and obviously, they got destroyed the last time we played them, but that's kind of a mulligan performance just because of the injuries and DTR playing at quarterback. So this is the first real true game where we really get to see what Jim Schwartz can dial up with a much more competent offense behind him.
yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, with the combination of him and Stefanski, I think we're going to be in good hands for a while as long as we can knock them both down.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to the way this season can go, and I'm optimistic for this game. But before I get out of here, do you have anything else you want to say before I get us out?
I don't believe so, my friend. I think it'll be a good game. I am fucking elated that Watson's finally not on the injury report whatsoever, so I'm happy to see what he can do. I mean, he kind of showed us a couple plays in last week that he was absolutely humming the ball downfield, so
Oh yeah.
I want to see a little bit of that this week because we're going to need every bit of it, I think, to beat this Baltimore team on the road. It'll be a tough one.
Absolutely. And I'll finalize our thoughts here by saying, yeah, it's going to be a great game. I think this is going to be...
Fuck the Ravens. Fuck them.
Fuck them! But,
Fuck them.
but no, I actually, my little bold prediction as we get out of here is I feel like this is going to be one of the contestants for Games of the Year amongst the NFL.
Yeah.
I think
Just
this
like
is going to
Browns
be...
Ravens from a couple years back where Lamar
Exactly.
went out, took a shit, and came back and did us in at the end of the game.
Oh, I don't like to think about that. But But
I think
no.
that's where my like hatred of this team stems from, because that happened and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, of all the time, I'm like, Baker played his ass off, and then we come out here and just give up the bag in the last freaking second.
I got a name for you, Andrew Sendejo.
I knew you were gonna bring that motherfucker up. Yeah, that was one of the worst defensive plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, that dude is the equivalent of my dad going out there and playing free safety.
Dude, he was absolutely abysmal, man.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
so glad
bad.
he's not even on it. He's out now, right?
Yeah, he's retired. He's old. He's old as shit.
Okay, maybe that's why he was out there getting absolutely dusted. Didn't freaking Andrews or somebody beat him down the field too? They beat him on like a play action crosser across
Fucking,
the
I don't know.
field.
My grandmother beat him down the field, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that was
But
absolutely disgusting.
anyway, let's get on that conversation. But no, yeah. Again, it's gonna be a tough
Go
game.
Brownies, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be a good one. I'm really excited to watch. But once again, we appreciate you guys for listening, and we hope you guys get enjoyment out of this one. I know this is a much more exciting matchup against Baltimore in Baltimore, so we hope it's a good game. We hope we come out on top,
Nobody give
even
a fuck
though
about that Cardinals team. I
yeah.
don't think Cardinals fans give a damn anymore.
Yeah, even though we might have been a little party poopers with our predictions, we want us to win. We want the Browns to win. We want to get some dubs here.
Hey,
But
we got a chance, man. I mean, we got a quarterback that can make the throws, so.
absolutely, absolutely. And you never, anything can happen any given Sunday. And once again, with that, we appreciate you guys for watching. It's been another episode of Cold Takes from the Land, and we will see you soon in the next episode.
Cold takes from the land.